Is there anything truly objective? It's a great question, and I need to make a video to answer it because what I want to talk about is sense. I want to talk about the way that we translate what we can communicate into signs which themselves can indicate truth or falsity. And I want to talk about the nature of those signs and their relationship to objectivity. So I, at the moment, exist as a picture for you. I am not myself here. I'm an irony because what you see cannot be the thing itself. What you see is a set of related signs which indicate the state of affairs that something exists in. I exist here in a logical space. I am a proposition in a sense. So you understand me because I am your subject. Am I being objective as I talk about myself, as I try and relate the nature of my communication to you in a set of signs? All the signs that I can use, all the senses of yours that I can access. I can use your vision, I can use your hearing. I unfortunately can't touch, and I don't want to go anywhere further than that. But the point of the matter being, is this video, this set of signs, objective evidence that I exist? No. This thing is not the thing itself in any way. There's no way that you can construe the process by which this information is presented to you as the object that produces it. Impossible. I could be pure CGI. Hopefully handsome CGI, what a joke. But the fact of the matter is, this is not fact. Not in an objective sense. It is fact in a subjective sense. You can make what I am showing you a fact, which you can assemble into an ontology, which can make sense. The ontology itself can communicate truths, but are those truths true? That is what the ontology cannot tell you. I, as I exist as a picture at the moment, cannot verify myself. This is the irony of Quora and all of these sort of profiles that people can make to represent themselves. You can't prove them. They are avatars. They are virtual entities. I could say that I'm the King of England and people would say that's a lie, but you can only say that's a lie by making reference to all other points of information that indicate that a King of England does not currently exist. But is that objective? No, that's making all of those other signs the subject of the inquiry that we then call an objective outcome. When we do science, we apply tests. The one thing that tests can never do, and what makes the sort of evidence base of diagnostic processes so fascinating, is that tests cannot tell you whether they're true or not. Tests can only indicate what you have asked them to differentiate between. But we ask the questions that the tests are designed to perform for us. They are the dichotomies that make truth, that use sense to make sense. I am using sense now to make an argument about objectivity. And my argument is really Kierkegaard's. Subjectivity is truth. What you call truth is a set of subjective assemblies which become interrelated enough for us to decide that they correspond as a picture of reality. Is that objective? Of course it's not. That is not objective in any way. That is not an object. That is using the same process of assembling meaning, the same process of making sense to create the world and then call it reality. Is that objective? So, when we take any information, when we take observations, when we take signs and we assemble them into propositions, those propositions contain their senses, but they cannot be their senses. They cannot validate themselves in any way. So the use of the word objective is an irony because objective is a word. How do you define it? What is the definition of objectivity? It makes use of other words. This is why what we cannot speak of, we must pass over in silence. Because when we talk about truth, when we talk about objectivity, when we try and name what makes things real, when we try and create the universe in a descriptive language, when we try and tell ourselves how things are, really, if we analyze it, we end up with silence. We end up with nothing. And that's Wittgenstein's point. Objectivity, as we call it, is not itself. It is a subjective rendering of what actually is. All of our experience, all of our language, all of our methods of handling reality are subjective methods. We take reality, we put it into a box that we can analyze, that we can understand. But our method of understanding is itself virtual. That is how all of our senses work, and it's why we cannot say what truth is. So, is anything truly objective? By definition, no, because definition is the problem. The way that we go about making definitions is by creating dichotomies, and we create the dichotomies. Do they exist by themselves in reality? We cannot know, because they themselves do not inform us. Our language creates the tests that determine the outcomes. Are we the makers of meaning? Etymology is everything. Did we invent words? That is the question.